Friday, 5 p.m. Jerusalem time. From NBC Studios, this is NBC Journal with Bassam Zahir and Sana Abu Samra.
President Abbas on the 54th anniversary of Palestinian Revolution. Jerusalem is not for sale.
Palestine will apply for full UN membership.
Palestinian murdered by Israeli forces laid to rest.
Hello and welcome again. President Mahmoud Abbas lit the torch on Monday evening in Ramallah, marking the 54th anniversary of the launch of the Palestinian Liberation Revolution and Fatah movement. On this occasion, President Abbas emphasized that Jerusalem is the eternal capital of the Palestinian state and is not for sale.
Abbas affirmed that the Palestinian leadership, along with the Palestinian people and the free people of the world, will neither accept nor allow anyone to sell Jerusalem, especially US President Donald Trump. This will never happen, stated President Abbas.
Abbas added that we will not allow anyone to hatch a plot against Jerusalem. Jerusalem will remain eternal capital of the Palestinian state, and the late President Yasser Arafat said, a Palestinian child will raise the flag of Palestine on the wall of minarets and churches of Jerusalem. At the present time, Palestine has observer status in the UN. The country authorities intend to qualify for full-fledged membership. In January 2019, Palestine will apply for full membership in the UN. Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki said, in order to obtain the full membership, Palestine should enlist the support of 9 out of the 15 member states of the UN Security Council. Al-Maliki noted that the state would demand the United Nations to implement a resolution calling on Israel immediately and completely halt the construction of all settlements in the Palestinian territory.
Ilyas Saleh Yassin, 22, whose body was handed over to his family and being withheld for more than 2 months, was laid to rest on Saturday in his hometown of Bidia in the West Bank. Hundreds of Palestinians took part in the funeral procession which set off from his home in the village. Yassin's body was released by the Israeli military on Friday and handed over to the Palestinian Red Crescent near the town of Salfit in the occupied West Bank. He was shot dead by Israeli forces on October the 15th outside the village of Haris near Salfit. Dozens of Palestinians killed by Israeli forces are still withheld in Israeli mortuaries despite calls by human rights groups on Israel to release them.
The Ramallah Grand Criminal Court sentenced on Monday a Palestinian identified only by his initials 1A to life in prison with hard labor after it would found him guilty of selling Palestinian land to a foreign country. The ruling said the convicted person was found guilty of violating Penal Code of Number 16 from 1960 that bans sale of land to a foreign country, and therefore he was sentenced to life in prison with hard labor. The convicted person, who was indicated on selling property in occupied Jerusalem to Jewish settlers, was brought before court on December 23rd and sentenced a week later.
Israel detained 6,500 Palestinians during 2018, including 1,063 children, 140 women, 6 lawmakers and 38 journalists. The Palestinian Prisoners Commission said on Saturday in a report on Israeli detention of Palestinians during 2018. It said Israel also issued 988 administrative detention orders against Palestinian activists, including 300 new orders in addition to the already being served renewed orders. The Commission reported that the highest number of detentions took place in January and reached 600 people. It further added that most journalists were detained for their writings on social media. 27 of them are still in prison. Furthermore, 300 Palestinians were detained for their social media activism, either through writings, posting pictures of Palestinians killed by Israeli soldiers, or even for liking posts.
Israeli forces detained on Monday 11 Palestinians from the village of Kobar in Ramallah in an ongoing campaign against the Palestinian village, local sources said. Residents said the raids, detention and closure of roads in the village are part of Israel's collective punishment policy against the village after one of its residents was killed by the army in an ambush after he was accused of being behind a shooting attack against Israeli settlers in nearby area.
Saudi Arabia transferred to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees $50 million in support of UNRWA's core health, education and social services in 2018. An UNRWA press release said on Friday that this very generous contribution confirms the unprecedented mobilization of support by donors and partners worldwide this year to help the UNRWA overcome its worst financial crisis ever.
The Israeli High Court dismissed on Sunday the petition filed by Adalah, the legal center of Arab minority rights in Israel. The Knesset Presidium decision ejected their proposal bill basic law, state with equal rights for all citizens. In doing so, the High Court refusing to even follow a discussion of equal rights and state for all citizens in the Knesset. The court chose to uphold the Knesset Presidium's decision to prevent its own Palestinian Arab minority members from initiating a bill and a debate to promote democratic values on the basis of equality for all. Said Adalah responded immediately to the court's decision. This decision violates the basic rights to full equality for Palestinian Arab citizens of the state.
The Wall and Settlement Resistance Committee filed an appeal to the Israeli Supreme Court denouncing the Israeli government's seizure of 1,200 dunams of Palestinian-owned land south of Bethlehem district in the southern occupied West Bank. The head of the committee, Hassan Breja, told the Voice of Palestine radio that the Israeli government granted 1,182 dunams of Palestinian land to the Israeli Ministry of Construction and Housing as a foundation for building an illegal Israeli outpost in the area. Between 500,000 and 600,000 Israelis live in the Jewish-only settlements across occupied East Jerusalem and the West Bank in violation of international law. The estimated 196 government-recognized Israeli settlements scattered across the Palestinian territory are all considered illegal under international law.
Israel was the most condemned country at the UN in 2018, with the General Assembly passing at least 20 resolutions against Tel Aviv for human rights abuses, illegal settlements on occupied Palestinian territory, and its continued occupation of East Jerusalem, reports Anadolu agency. At least 6 resolutions have been passed by the end of November sought to draw attention to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In addition, a separate resolution has been passed in December, renewed condemnation of the U.S. unilateral recognition of Palestinian at Israel's capital.
The Board of Directors of the Center of Middle East Studies at Oxford University extended an invitation to Chief Palestinian Negotiator and Secretary General of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization, Saeb Erekat, to give this year's George Antonius Memorial Lecture. The Antonius Lecture, now in its 44th year, is Oxford's most distinguished annual event in modern Middle Eastern studies, said a statement issued by the university's board of directors. The lecture series is named in honor of the late George Antonius, whose magisterial study of the origins of Arab nationalism, the Arab Awakening in 1938, has inspired generations of thinkers and activists.
The European Union and France Thursday criticized Israel for its advancement and approval of 2,191 housing units in the illegal settlements of the occupied West Bank. The EU stressed that Israel's decision undermines the viability of two-state resolutions and possibility of lasting peace. A written statement on Thursday, the European Union position on Israel's settlement construction and related activities is clear and remains unchanged. All settlement activity is illegal under international law. A French foreign ministry was quoted saying that France condemns Israel's decision to allow the expansion of settlers' houses in the West Bank. The French statement added the Israeli decision violates the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2334, which forbids the settlement building in the occupied Palestinian territories. On 31st of December, the decision of the U.S. withdrawal from UNESCO officially came into force in accordance with the Charter of the organization. Due to this withdrawal, the United States will not pay due and will not be able to elect the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO.
The United States officially left UNESCO. On the 31st of December, the decision of the U.S. withdrawal from UNESCO officially came into force in accordance with the charter of the organization. Due to this withdrawal, the United States will not pay dues and will not be able to be selected in the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO. Russia's Nizhevizhmaya Gazeta said that Israel is preparing for waging a destructive war on Syria following the U.S.'s withdrawal from the country. The newspaper said that the decision of U.S. President Donald Trump to withdraw American troops from Syria has left Israel forced to face the Iranian presence in Syria with its troops alone. The newspaper quoted Israel's former Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman as saying that the United States withdrawal from Syria greatly increases the likelihood of a large-scale conflict in the north, whether in Lebanon or in Syria. Lieberman added that the Americans' departure would raise the morale of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and his allies, Iran and Lebanese Hezbollah.
Turkish President Recep Erdogan said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is pursuing a policy of state terror against the Palestinians. Benjamin Netanyahu has criticized the wrong politician. He banged the wrong door. As President of Turkey, I take all steps to help the oppressed The head of Israel government is sowing evil by pursuing state error, said Erdogan. He further noted that Israel has no right to make accusations against others until it responds on its own atrocities.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un expressed his commitment to denuclearization. However, he warned that he will change course if the US continues its sanctions. He made the remarks during his closely watched annual New Year's address. Last year's speech set the country on an unprecedented path of international diplomacy with South Korea and the US. Kim met US President Donald Trump to discuss denuclearization in June 2018. Last year's rapprochement came after a turbulent 2017 marked by North Korea testing missiles that could reach the US mainland, and after an escalation in rhetoric between Pyongyang and Washington, with both sides trading insults and threats of nuclear destruction. And now moving to An-Najah National University's news.
Dr. Sanaz Surghali, graduate Lancaster University in the UK for the year 2016 and Professor of Constitutional Law at An-Najah, was obtained an Outstanding Alumni Award from Lancaster, which makes her the first Palestinian woman to receive this award. The award is presented to graduates who have made sustainable contribution to their field and have developed an outstanding international or national reputation among their peers.
Professor Shihda Joudeh has recently won the Academic Excellence Award for Palestinian Universities offered by the Palestine Polytechnic University and the Palestine Islamic Bank. During 2018, Professor Joudeh has produced 20 research papers published by prominent international journals of high impact factor. He also produced 3 papers that will be published in 2019. As An-Najah representative, Professor Joudeh supervised 3 projects over the year, including Balja project. Professor Joudeh also participated in several international conferences in Lebanon, Morocco and France. He was also the member of the first Palestinian International Alumni Forum Preparatory Committee, which was held recently at An-Najah University.
Dr. Yusuf Salami, a biotechnology graduate of An-Najah Facility of Science 2009, as An-Najah PhD's candidate to Japan since 2012 during his study years in Japan. He became interested in cancer and stem cells discipline, and now he is one of the best researchers in this field, not only in Japan but also globally.
The Practical Training Center at An-Najah, represented by its coordinator, Mr. Bassem Ghaith, has recently participated in the Exchange of Arab Students Training Forum. The event was organized by the Arab Council for Training Students of Arab Universities and took place at the Misr University for Science and Technology in Egypt. The forum included 40 Arab universities, and An-Najah team was offered 60 training opportunities in Jordan, Oman, Egypt and Iraq in various disciplines.
The chemistry department at An-Najah, in cooperation with the Palestinian Water Authority and the Middle East Desalination Research Center, organized the first MEDRC Palestinian Water Research Alumni Forum at the Korean Palestinian IT Institute of Excellence in the new campus. The event was attended by Professor Maher Al-Natshe, Dr. Ma'an Ishtewi, and General Director of Technical Affairs at PWA and Mr. Brendan Smith. The forum was also attended by MA and PhD students of different Palestinian universities, as well as scientists and researchers from PWA and MEDRC Foundation.
These are the news of the week. Thank you for watching. For more information, visit our website nn.ps.
See you next Friday.